allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody to the trustee meeting, August 7th, 2023, 9:30 a.m. I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to call the roll, please.
President Scott Horowitz.
I am here.
William Pelt, Secretary Treasurer, is here. Edward J. Warner.
Present.
Ann Walker is not here. William Parrish.
Present.
All right,
You got 4 out of 5.
okay, we're good. Let's get going. Welcome everybody. Hi.
Good. I just have a question. I've been meeting with Noah at the rescue center.
You have to come out.
You got to speak over there.
You gotta speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm last, but I'm just asking if I could go. You could change the order. So
You have a
I can
meeting
know.
with the Rescue Center?
With Noah.
What are you, which one are you on?
Mr. Parrish's.
Okay.
That's two.
All right, so, okay.
And if not, that's okay.
I'll tell you what we're going to do then. What we'll do, if there's no objections from the board, this may work out really well
Stay
for
right
you.
there.
Take them backwards.
Yeah, you know what?
Come
Well,
up
yeah,
here.
exactly, because we're not going to do the Sag Harbor Committee conversation today. That's been delayed. So this works out perfect.
Take
So
the
you-
agenda backwards.
Yeah, we're going to, let's do trustee parishes first. How about that? And we'll start with you.
Not that I want to meet with Noah.
Well, listen, you got important work that you do over there, and I appreciate all that. So why don't let's jump right into this. Come on up, sign in, state your name for the record, and we'll get right into this and get you on your way.
Thank you so much.
Because I appreciate the hard work that you do.
No, thank you so much. They are an agency that, quite frankly, are a pain in the ass.
Easy now. But the rescue center.
You're on TV.
The rescue center,
Doesn't matter. Everybody
he
knows.
calls it as he sees it, which we love about it. But the rescue center is an important mission. Right?
It is. We should get some of the releases we're having this summer.
Well, if you send some notification over to us in advance, right, we'll.
I will do that. We had 500 people there
Wow.
last week.
Nice.
Yeah.
You okay, trustee Parish?
Thank you.
Okay, 38 Tug Hill Lane.
Yes, that's Mr. Harney's. Mr. Harney had a dock that was approved by the trustees quite a while ago. It got shortened in that permit because there's hardly any water there. Mr. Harney just bought the property, and apparently the neighbor, or not the neighbor, the former owner, had been tying up a boat to it anyway in very shallow water, and he didn't like it. It was hitting the bottom all the time. So what I suggested to him is not to change anything, but to put a pole at the 100-foot that would meet the blue book, and a pulley, and to be able to have the boat out a little bit further, pull it in. So all we're really applying for is a pole and a pulley to the existing dock. And if you look back at the history of this, we didn't do it, but there had been an application for a much longer dock that you all had cut back, rightfully so.
Zoom in on that a bit.
How much seaward of the dock that's there is the proposed, mooring pond?
It's about 50 feet.
Another,
recommend a solar mooring light or some kind of
you'd have to
light?
put some type of marker on it.
No, we were just
Yeah.
trying to make it, like I said, the former, they tied up boat. In fact, the permit says you can have 2 boats at the dock.
Yes,
You know,
that's
so,
standard.
yeah.
Yeah, that's recreational standards.
Small little
Right,
Boston
right.
whalers.
Yeah, well,
Don't trip
you know how
anywhere.
that goes. You
No,
know,
not these days.
you know, I think I'm the only one that has a small Boston whaler.
That one too.
After this weekend and seeing the boats in the water, there are no small boats, right, Scott?
It was madhouse out there this weekend.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know, we work on Fire Island all the time. You think it's crazy here. fried great South Bay.
You know, we're
And
very,
all the people are drinking, going back and forth to the mainland.
it's not good, but we're very constrained by our channels, are very narrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it, you know, you have, you know, it's different than boating in the seventies on Shinnecock Bay. You know, courtesy, I think, had a different definition back then than it does today.
Well, we used to, and we probably still do.
You only
we used
had
to
one
laugh.
airport.
You sit there in Shinnecock,
you have five.
at low tide, and you watch the guys come out of the canal and head to the inlet, try to cut straight across. You know, and you go,
Yeah.
okay, 1, 2, 3,
Our,
boom.
yeah, our channels are not forgiving at all, so you really have to pay attention to the charts and GPS, and you gotta really
But
pay
anyway,
attention.
that's, I thought he was being reasonable. He, you know, he didn't want the boat sitting on the bottom, and it gives him about another foot of water, you know.
So your,
Yeah.
the concern is, you know, not being a hazard to navigation,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Sure, that's fine.
right? So trustee Parish,
I think, should go forward.
right, so we put some type of marker on here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Yep.
much. Appreciate it.
You don't need stamp plans for a pilot.
I don't think you do.
No, I would like, we could waive that.
Yeah,
No.
that's not, doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But you definitely gonna have to put some condition in there for.
No,
a marker.
that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you,
Safety,
guys.
what else do you have here?
I have 24 Cedar Lane, which is actually pretty easy. This was a dock on a canal, bulkheaded, that actually never had a trustee permit, never had DEC permit. It was sold. Condition of the sale was that they legalized what was there. It's just a float and a ramp off the bulkhead. There's plenty of water there. So we're just trying to legalize what's there. Never had a trustee's permit. We settled it with DEC. Because of the size of it, they basically said, you know, they permitted the ramp. The float was undersized, so they permitted it. It's
So we Blue Book compliant now?
Looks like it's within the pier line of other docks, so it's.
Oh, yeah, no, like,
Yeah,
it's
no.
been there for years, you know,
Well,
but
I'm very-
they just never got a permit
Fam-
from anybody.
Familiar with Fish Cove, how narrow
Yeah,
and, you know,
yeah.
contentious some of the applications have
You
been.
got Blue Book compliant?
Contentious.
I believe
Yes.
so.
Yeah, they addressed, it's about 190 feet up to the other side, so they have plenty of room.
Yeah,
Thanks, James.
okay. And that's it.
And they're removing the second float, so.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the one float.
Just the
Yeah,
one float?
Just the one float.
Right,
So it's all compliant, good.
Yep,
to be removed.
and that's it.
Looks good.
Okay.
And thank you guys for letting me go first, so I can.
Keep up the good work over there at the rescue center.
Oh, it's wonderful.
We need,
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
need stamp
Stamp
plans.
I will.
Oh, no, they have stamp plans, so.
Yeah. I'll put you all on.
Send,
on
send,
the
send
list.
notification to the Board of
Oh, it's
Trustees.
so cool.
Yeah,
You know,
of
when
course
you-
it
when
is.
when you see like 300, 400, 500 people standing there watching.
No, it's good work that you do. It's a
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
it's a
it's
great
nice.
place, it's a great cause, it's a
Yeah.
great mission. And certainly, you know, put us on your list, and if any of the trustees can come down there and be a part of
Yeah.
it, that's great.
Yeah. And I like your new puppy.
Thank you. It's funny.
Have a great one.
You
Yeah.
too. Thanks,
Take
guys.
care, Chuck.
Right, trustee Parrish, you wanna just finish yours up, since we're halfway there?
Sure, we have 1194 Flanders Road.
How are you? Good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Matt Jedlicka from McLean Associates.
How we doing, Matt?
Good, good. This is a Southampton project for CPF. It's the Reeves Bay Catwalk. It had a permit in maybe 2020 or 21, expired, and we didn't renew it within the renewal period, so it's a new permit.
Okay. But nothing's changed?
Nothing's changed with the existing permit that we had,
Okay.
so it's a resubmission of that.
Okay.
They want to put in the files that we're going to, on the fees,
We're gonna waive the fees?
We waive the
We're gonna
fees.
triple the fees.
triple, no, waive it.
It's for public access. It's
Of course.
a good
Fees
project.
for the town of
Yeah, it's
Southampton.
a passive park.
Yep.
So it's basically, the delay was a decision to restore the barn that's upland of the project and
Okay.
use that as like a trailhead. And then there'll be a parking area, path through the barn, and a stone path with a boardwalk in the wet area in the beginning of the project, and then once you get through the peninsula and the woods, then a boardwalk out towards Reeves Bay.
No, it's a good project, I remember it.
Yep. I'll go with it.
We'll waive the fee and move it forward.
You just need the stamp plans for this one.
They should, you don't have the stamp plans?
Doesn't look like it.
Can you shoot us a copy over? I'm sure you have them.
Looks like they're not stamped.
Okay, yep, no
You
problem.
can do that. That's easy.
Yep.
We're good. Nice to see you. Thank you for
Perfect,
your
yeah,
hard work
good
on
to
it.
see you. Thank you.
Bill, are those stamped in there?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'll just, I'll get those in tomorrow.
James, can you bring that mic over?
Oh,
All right, thank you, guys.
All right,
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
You have a modification on, trustee Parish?
We have a modification on Elisheri LLC, 12 Bob Lloyd Lane in Remsenburg, First Coastal.
He's late again.
Yeah, is this a straightforward modification, James?
Not sure, I'm looking
This is the one where they have some questions with respect to the width of the walkway. So I think we'll wait for Bill.
He might be coming, so.
All right, so let's hold that for now. We'll go back up to the top of the agenda. We'll work on my stuff.
We got Ann's here if you want to go, or you
You
want
want to do Ants?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For Ann Welker, B&S Courtyard LLC, 14 Vitale Silly Avenue, Sag Harbor, Suffolk Environmental. This was a project that we had worked on in 2018. We did give an approval for the application, making it a permit, but they never acted on it, so they're back here basically asking for the same permit again, correct?
Yes, it's just gonna be under a different name, but it's Matt Ivan, Suffolk Environmental. So I think Nick DeMarco from Glover LLC, he received the first permit for this dock, which
Okay.
expired, and then I have a new client, new owner, wants to build the exact same dock.
So, I mean, nothing has changed, it has adequate water depth, it complies to our blue book, correct, James?
Yes,
It
So-
should be fine.
So we should be
Okay.
able to move that ahead, okay?
just need stamp plans.
Yep.
Okay, do you want them prior? The engineered stamp?
We need them now, if we're gonna move it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I thought it was gonna be after.
Well, if we're gonna move it from work
Yeah.
session to,
No, I can get them to you. I just wanna make sure. Okay.
Yeah, they're all good with it then.
And nothing's good, nothing's changed from the original.
Nothing's changed, yeah, and
so-
I'm going across the board with all the agencies too.
Okay,
Okay, I appreciate it, you guys.
Yep.
And girls, thank
Yeah.
you. All right. How we going?
thank you.
All right, Scott, you can get into yours now.
Yeah, I see we're getting set up for our exec. All right, advance that. I have an owner here, let's see, 6 Feedack Lane, Laura McKenzie.
Good morning.
Morning. Where are we at with this now?
So, me? When I originally, the dock was damaged in January storm, I put in an application to just repair and replace what had been there when I bought the property, without realizing that what was there was never properly in compliance with the original
right.
permit. I came to the last hearing, you made me aware of what was in compliance. I sent on to James, and I think you as well, the actual permits that were permitted in the 70s, 77. And then I revised the application to just ask to replace the 6x20 footprint that is permitted and allowed. So that's what I'm asking for,
Right.
to reduce the footprint on the creek, bring it in compliance with what is in fact permitted, and that's all I'm asking.
Right, so James? We're good now?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
I think everybody's fine with that?
Yes.
We're totally in compliance, you did a
Yep.
good job, we got
Wonderful.
cleaned it up.
Thank you.
Now we can get moving to the next step.
Terrific.
We just need the plans
Yeah,
So,
stamp plans.
so what
James can explain to you what we're gonna need.
You need an engineer or a licensed engineer or surveyor to stamp the plans.
Oh,
That's all.
easy. Okay,
And then
thank
we,
you very
and
much.
then when we receive that, then we can get it on for a resolution and then get you the permit that you need to get on your way.
Does the survey that was given to Marty Shane, the Conservation Department, and is stamped by
Well,
It's-
by the
yeah,
survey,
but
does that count?
the
It has
engineer-
the dock on
The
it?
plans need.
the plans for the
show
dock that you're
dock.
building needs
Yes.
to be stamped, so.
Okay.
Whoever drew those plans for
These-
you?
Yeah.
These
they-
plans that I have up here,
Right,
Oh, yes. Okay,
they
perfect.
need an
engineer
engineer.
stamp.
Stamp on them.
Right.
Thank you very much. I'll
Okay?
get that back to you.
Good job,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
for working on that. Okay. We got the Scholar Family Trust, 22 Last Lane, Hampton Bays. We've got Kevin Springer, Dynamic Legal Services.
How are you, sir?
Okay, how are you?
Hey, Kevin.
Gentlemen. This has been this was technically should have been done a while ago. This has been failing, this bulkhead, for some time. The two bulkheads to the west of us have been done recently in the last few years, which has really hit it now. So we're just trying to clean it up and get it back to what it was.
Let's see the photos that he's got. In kind and in place. In kind, in place, 80 feet.
Yeah, it's not the entire bulkhead. If you come this way, you can see it just on the bottom corner. There is a piece that was started, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, only goes about 10 feet. So we just want to continue that right to the corner.
There's no permit for that, right?
For that piece, no.
Yeah, so you need a
We-
permit for the whole entire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you didn't include that in there?
I have to check my measurement. Hold
We're
on, let
gonna,
me
we're
just-
gonna have to.
Okay, let me just
Yeah.
see something. Let me just check the entire length of the bulkhead. If not, we can. No, it's a 20-foot section, so we have to include the 20 foot.
Exactly, you got to include that as an as-built,
Yeah.
right?
And the plans are gonna be engineered, correct?
Yes.
Are you gonna, what height are you going?
Well, the one neighbor to the west of us is our level, but then the neighbor to them, who was just recently done, is 12 inches above. So we're looking to go to the higher one so that we don't keep having flooding. We do have a buffer there.
But the other neighbor's not at that level yet, so how's that gonna work
How
out?
about the westerly neighbors? Aren't they all consistently the same height?
No, there's one that's level with us,
Yeah.
and then the next one to the west of them is
Okay.
actually 12 inches higher.
So the one with the green is level with you right now?
Well, it's hard to say because it's gone.
Yeah.
That whole piece is gone in the corner.
This,
Is that your bulkhead? You're gonna be replacing that return part, or is that the neighbor's?
No, that's the neighbor's.
Neighbors.
So that's gone now?
No, our piece that goes to the corner there
Okay.
is gone.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell if it's the same height or not.
So currently, all this material, is it on site, or has it been just washed into the bay?
Some of it's on site and some of it's been washed into the bay.
So it needs to be removed ASAP.
Yes. Which she said she was doing a year ago, but I
I
just
watched
came
it.
on.
See this
I-
one,
I've
the
watched it.
entire thing? See, that's like,
Yeah, I think that's the bulkhead that they put in without a permit,
Oh.
or maybe it's a little further down. Yeah,
What, the two doors down?
Yeah, there was an issue there. But I mean, it's a pretty low bulkhead, raising it up
yeah.
a foot.
You have the elevation is moving back towards the house, what do you,
It's level there.
Yep.
so how are you gonna handle water coming in behind that from the adjoining property?
is this the bulkhead that you're going up to, or is this the one that's lower? That's
No,
the
I don't
same.
know the height of that one because that corner there, which is the
Does he have
eastern
pictures of
corner,
the bulkheads to the west?
the bulkheads to the west are higher, but the one to the
You have
east,
the
I
ones to the
can't
west,
tell.
you have the pictures of the ones to the west here?
No, but I can get them today if you'd
All
like.
right, so you're gonna have to get that, and you're gonna have to get the total bulkhead permit, you know.
Well, the total is 100, because I measured 80.
So you're gonna have to account for the 20 that was done
Uh-huh.
as-built.
Right,
We're gonna need it, elevation information on the other side,
okay.
and if you're going up, you know, are you bringing fill in, or what are you gonna do? you
Yeah,
gonna
we have to
handle
bring in a little bit, yes.
So is that on here?
Actually,
No.
I don't know if it
No,
was.
so you have to figure this all out.
Okay.
And do they have a planting schematic behind there, grass or whatever?
Well, it's currently, it's basically just seagrass and beach rose.
So indicate that
So
on
you
your
have to
plans.
revegetate with what's there currently?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, it's all
they
there.
have
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Maintained 25-foot wide buffer.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Containing.
No,
I
it's
I
not
don't have the
just
permit
Yeah,
from the
yeah, so it's
operations.
indicated on the plan.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
That's what-
I'll get you this today and,
Yeah,
all right.
Just to confirm, since he's getting the permit for the 20 feet, that would be an as-built fee.
for that portion of
So
it.
the 20-foot will be as.
20 is gonna be the as-built. What are you doing with the elevation on that as-built?
Because that's
You
the
know what,
sa-
that's a good, now that we, I
That-
was just gonna say, I don't know
Yeah,
if we
that's,
can
how's that
actually do
gonna work out? I mean, you really, you know what you gotta do, Kev? You gotta take a look at that whole thing, at what's going on, since they've got that as-built.
Yeah, I don't
You really
think-
gotta look at this?
What,
Because
can
I
I
don't
make a
think.
recommendation? Wouldn't it be
Good.
practical to eliminate all the bulkheads there and start from there? That way, if you're
Well,
gonna do it.
that's what I was just thinking,
Because-
because I know that the as-built section is actually level with the one neighbor to the immediate west, which I don't think she wants to pay to have that whole thing, so she's gonna have to probably keep it at the regular height. Because if you do what you say and try and lift and take it all out and redo it, I don't know if she wants to pay for it.
Right, so then you may have to stay at that level and just take a look at how it works out. You may be fine. Has she had problems with the house on storm tides?
I think only in one storm.
Sandy in the spring, in the storm at Christmas
But
time.
when you
Yes.
get
Yeah,
that
well,
going on.
yes, the storm and the Christmas time was the final nail in
So,
the coffin.
so December 23rd, 2022? That's what you're talking about?
Yes,
So what type of, did she incur issues at her house on that day?
yes.
She did.
Oh, no, she didn't have water in the house.
She didn't have any
No,
water.
she did not have water. in
All
the
right,
house.
so, well, okay, so why don't you do an evaluation of
I
what
will.
they did?
I'm gonna confer with
Yeah.
her today and see
And
if she
then-
wants to,
Yeah.
because it's considerable cost of,
Yeah,
amount to
but
break
the
that
bulk-
out and put it all back in.
No, but the bulkhead, the way it's constructed, it's not gonna let, there's no whaler in front of it.
Exactly.
It's very sharp, it's just like a patchwork there.
Right.
And we had a bulkhead that was put in without a permit in Shinnecock Bay, and that storm over the Christmas completely pulled the bulkhead right out of the ground.
Yeah, well, the
That's-
gentleman who's doing it, it was, part of it is to shore that up if he is going to.
Yeah,
So
but,
it's-
but you can have an elevation change, so you have to.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we might
Yeah.
not be able to do the
Yeah.
elevation.
Right, yeah, exactly. Why don't you go take a look at it now?
Yep.
You know what you're up against.
All right,
Is there anything else that you want to do?
no, I don't have anything today.
All right,
All right,
we'll talk to you about this.
Yep,
On hold.
thank you.
You got it. All right, now I have E2H Holding LLC, 8 Bayview Drive. And representing E2H.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Good.
Sign in, state your name for the record.
Ed Harms.
See ya. You want to add a section of floating dock to the already approved dock.
The section was added during a dredging project. I think we had a little miscommunication with the contractor that was doing the dredging.
So you want to add another 19 by 6 floating dock?
Yes, technically, it's been added.
Well, yeah, that's a problem.
How many floating docks you have already?
There's a 19 by 6 was the original.
And then we want to put another 19 by 6.
Correct.
Yeah, that's,
Can't do that.
yeah, that's a problem.
You got a copy of the permit for the original one, or?
It's on the permit application that we've submitted.
You have
to
that, James?
I don't see
see it on here.
Maybe the last page in the plans on the permit application?
Yeah, this is, yeah, that's way out of spec of our regulations. By 19 foot by 6. That's a problem.
We only allow one 6 by 20 float
Hmm.
per residence.
There's no mechanism for that. So I don't know who put that in there, but they should have not done that. They should have been holding back on, whoa, slow down a second. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think there was a miscommunication because there was an open dredging permit, and the canal was being dredged. When my wife spoke with them, I think the impression that was given was that was the time to do
Who
the
did that?
work. I don't recall the contractor who did
Okay,
that.
because that's gonna have to, we can't approve it. There's just no mechanism
You
for
can
us to
actually
do.
get a violation.
Right, so you're gonna have to figure out how to remove it and have a conversation with whoever said it was okay to do that without permits, because there's no mechanism for us to do that. We don't, this board, it's like we have these blue book regulations that we go by, which any contractor and anybody can go online and say, okay, here's what it can do. This is what's acceptable. So, but there's no, it's not like the zoning
Yeah.
board or somebody where they're granting relief. This is just, there's regulations for what, so you can keep standards, and unless you had a prior permit from 19, whatever. Even the other lady that was here had something that somebody put in without permits and then needed to clean it up, and it had to go to the current regulations, which was what we approved for her, which met Blue Book. So all you need to do is just get the plans, to meet the Blue Book regulations, and you're good, but it's too big.
Hmm. I'll have to find out then who my attorney was speaking with, because the feedback that she had gotten was just that you were looking for confirmation that the Village of Quogue didn't have an objection to it.
No, as a matter of fact, I've had conversations with the Village of Quogue, and we're trying to get in synchronicity better, because this is unfortunately happening too much. And it's not, creates these problems, and we don't want to create these problems. We
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
find ways that there's, because when you're getting into waterways permitting, there's a lot of regulatory authorities that you have to satisfy for dredging and bulkheading, and,
There's gotta be some miscommunication
Well,
then.
It could be, but it's out of spec with our regulations, so we can't approve it.
Maybe it's that it didn't actually have to go through Southampton. Could that have been correct? It's a man-made, it's a man-dug canal.
But a lot of these things were rivulets back in the day that the trustees allowed. You're talking to the oldest board that there is in the country, and you're talking about permits that, predate the formation of the country. And you're talking about, regulation that's occurred consistently. We own, properties long before the villages existed. We still hold today and protect and defend public access on the ocean beaches dating back to colonial era patents. So the underwater lands and these underwater areas are still owned by the trustees. So a lot of times when you're in the village, you gotta comply with their regulations, and you have to comply with the trustees' regulations. That's how it's worked for a long time. I think what's happened is people are playing fast and loose with their interpretations on what's going on, and the people that are sitting in the regulatory side are trying to figure out ways that we work together and synchronize what it is that we do so that there's rhyme and reason.
You fully appreciate it.
Didn't you originally state that you had a permit, there was a permit for the original dock from the trustees?
The 20-foot was there. I had an incident where my son fell into the canal 2 years ago trying to board a vessel, and that's why when the dredging work was being done, we added the second 20-foot.
But, you originally said the original dock that was there was permit from the trustees. So,
I bought the property with the original dock that was there.
James, was there,
I don't see one attached to the application, but I don't see one in the last 6 years, so.
Right.
It would go back, I think, to a little before that.
Right, so we all gotta do some research here.
Yeah.
But we can't advance this because it's out of spec with the Blue Book regulations.
I've got to speak to my council then, because the direction specifically received was confirm that Quogue didn't have an objection to it and then bring that back to you.
Well,
Is it a local, local lawyer, or is it a lawyer from up west? You might
Uh,
not realize it.
I think she's from Riverhead.
right, but that, in the interest of fairness and procedure, even if that was what was said, they should have conferred with us first to see that it was, you know, acceptable to the Blue Book regulations before moving forward and doing it.
Mm.
And I think that, you know, as a benefit to you and your wife, if you're paying a contractor to do work, you know, hey, listen, check with the regulatory authorities first before we take your money and install this in violation of whoever's permits, ours, the DEC, whatever. So there's no mechanism for us to be able to handle this, and, you know, as a matter of fact, we're gonna have to clean it up.
I'll do some.
Do some research.
I'll do some research.
Is there a permit from the Army Corps or the DEC for this structure? Because those are the other two regulatory agencies that would be
I don't have the
involved.
original paperwork for the house.
Yeah.
So you,
No, I'm just, being that you just put, it's a new dock, you would have gotten a permit from the Army Corps and the DEC to put this new structure in.
right, so you may have, be out of spec.
It's not a new dock, it's just an additional,
When
floating.
you add onto it, it's a new dock.
okay.
Yeah.
And when you replace it,
So
you
you
have to get flag due that you rebuilt it.
Let me do some research.
You
then,
gotta do
because
some
I
research.
think there's a gap somewhere
Yep.
here.
Right,
Okay.
feel free to call, you can call myself or call James, but you know, we're gonna have to get it cleaned up, just like the example that you saw come before, you know, before you, on the other one that I had that had to be cleaned up. There was no permits for it, it was totally out of spec, and we had to get it cleaned up and get it to where it was approvable by everybody. And that's, you're kind of right now in the same situation, so do a little research.
Yeah, let me do research first.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, it's on hold. And then we have 16B East Diana Road, Hampton Bays. 16 You're representing 16B East Diana Road?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Morning, Clay.
Hey, Clay.
How you doing? Okay.
How are you?
Yeah, but they give you a letter of permission to do it, because it says owner here. Just for the,
Okay, good.
yeah, I just make sure, so we don't get in trouble. You have that in your permit, because it says owner.
Clicking of pens.
Copy of that.
There'll be no clicking of pens. That's in the Blue Book Rules Regulation, that in any public
Is
trustee
that Mark
meeting,
down there doing it?
you will not be,
I have been a prime offender in the past, but I don't think I've clicked yet today. I'll try not to.
I don't have a clickable pen.
there'll be no,
They took mine away.
We need him to do our form. It's not notarized. This is not our form. I'll stamp it in anyway, but we still need.
okay.
Clay, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear.
You have to talk a little bit
We need
louder.
our form done, not, we need the one that's in our packet, the authorization form. It's gotta be notarized,
It's not in there now?
James.
Can you go in the office and get it,
Oh,
there it is.
What is that then?
can you go back to the application?
All right, well,
Might have
we
been-
have it.
all right, we see, we got it, we got it. We're good,
So
we're
it's a
good.
mistake
We're
on
fine.
our
Good?
side. It's a mistake on our
You're
side.
all
It
right,
says
Clay.
owner.
Good.
Go for
I
it.
don't want to give him back that money.
No. Charge him.
You're okay. Proceed.
This is to approve an as-built float
I think that's just a copy of the.
next to the bulkhead.
Okay, we have a 6x20 and 2 pilings.
The pilings are against the bulkhead.
Right, do we have pictures here? Show the board.
You should have, might made them.
Okay. Well, 6x20 is acceptable.
What's the diameter on the pilings?
I would say 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
It's
big.
8 inch.
I would say it looks okay.
Yeah.
I was on site
It's okay.
several times through this whole process because
Thank you.
It's okay.
Okay?
it's Scott's
You
here.
good with that?
We go with that. All right.
I think it's okay with the permit.
Yep.
What'd you say, James?
Yeah, he's got stamp plans, so he's good.
Okay.
All fees are paid?
Well, we're not handling fees over here, so
Okay.
I can't answer that question. You have to
They
speak to
pay
the
a lot of
office.
money.
You have to pay the dimensional fees once it's approved.
Now, do I have to come back for the stamp plan thing, or, because I issued this?
You don't have to come back if you provide what it is that you need. You don't have to come back as long as you provide what we need,
Yeah,
and they'll
that I
tell you
did.
what fees that you owe. It sounds like you owe some fees. So
Yeah,
they'll- they'll-
all the dimensional fees. once
Right, so you pay the
it's
dimensional
approved by
fees and give them their plans, and you don't have to come back as long as you've given.
It's an as-built fee and a dimensional fee,
Right.
right, James?
Right,
The as-built, I believe they paid already.
right, so just
Okay.
pay the dimensionals and provide what they need, and then you'll.
Can you just
don't have to
scroll
come
up on
back.
that? See, he's not
All
listed
right,
as the
I did
agent
all
there.
that, so that's good.
Right, right.
All right, so I'll see you in a little while. Got
Okay,
another one.
we'll be here. Thank you.
Weird.
Trustee Pell.
I have 370 Fowler's LLC, 370 Fowler Street, Enter Science.
All right.
I want to hand it off to Scott because I'm friends with the owner.
All right.
Mike Shiano from InterScience.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good.
All right, so you want to do the demolition of an existing walkway and construction of a new ADA compliant walkway in a footprint of the old walkway with access to the toe of the dune. Proposed walkway will be constructed with untreated tropical hardwood with all hardware hot dip galvanized, extend seaward from the existing deck and consist of a 4-foot by 5-foot landing connected to a 4-foot by 36-foot ADA compliant ramp to another 4-foot by 5-foot landing to a 4-foot by 32 to a wheelchair turnaround consisting of a 4-foot by 3-foot landing and a 6-foot by 5.5-foot wheelchair turnaround and a 4-foot and a 4.5-foot landing to another 4-foot by 36-foot ADA compliant ramp. 90-degree jog, wheelchair turnaround, raised from existing grade to a maximum of 12 foot, 10 inches, and a minimum of 2 foot. The railings will be constructed of stainless steel handrails, posts, and wire.
Just for clarification purposes, the area that it is 12 feet tall is all landward of the dune crest, and that's just to connect to the, so they had to lift their house for FEMA purposes, so then the deck that is around the pool is also being lifted. And so in order to have a straight shot that comes out from the deck.
They're making a bridge.
They're making a bridge,
Yeah.
correct. So that the owner's father, who is going to be living in the house, is able to access the beach without having to go up and down stairs unnecessarily.
And that's not our jurisdiction behind the dune, so.
You
Well,
may,
but-
may want to get an advisory opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but if it's connected to our thing, we generally permit it, but Mark's correct. We probably
Yeah.
should get an advisory, send for an advisory,
From the Con Board.
correct, from the Environment Division.
I will request that.
Yeah, because generally, that way, if there's concerns, we can address them here.
Well, Billy, is this in the village?
No, it's 2 houses outside of the
Yeah,
village.
okay.
Right.
3 houses outside.
Yeah, I thought
So
it was.
so that's, we'll get an advisory, because that way we can handle it and make sure you don't have, you know, we don't make additional issues.
Yeah, go smoothly.
And your regulations call for a covenant, if they sell the home and the handicapped person doesn't live there anymore, that it would be
Remote.
removed.
Right. Right, you've examined this, Mark?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that one a little more closely, but yeah.
Says the facility must be removed upon sale of the subject premises to a third party.
Right, so
The
that's,
covenant to that effect must be filed with Suffolk County Clerk's office.
Right.
Copy of the covenant recording page must be sent to the trustee's office within 60 days of the date of the permit.
right, you're aware of that?
I was not, but I'm sure they'll be
Yeah, that's.
fine with that.
Yeah, that's in
Um,
relations.
Okay. If a model or draft can be provided so that we make sure, I mean, if you have one available, otherwise the attorney said John Bennett, so I'm sure
It's in
that
a
he
blue
can.
book.
Well, no, he means a model like for the,
Oh,
For like the
Template,
language.
for the language,
Right,
a template,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, Mark, I don't know if we have a template, or there's some, we've done this in the past, so there may be a template.
Yeah, if not,
We
I
can look
can
into that for you.
create one, that's not a problem.
Right.
Any of the trustees have any other, is there any other pictures you want to put up, James, for the
I
trust?
don't have them uploaded. I'm sorry about that. Just have the survey, fortunately.
All right, so one advisory, two, this other scenario. Um, You have the hydro, what do we have?
There's no more there. It's a dune walkover, right?
Yep.
Just looking to see, you know what's throwing me off, it's got proposed distance to, I just saw this, I'm like,
No, that's a different.
yeah.
It's going in the other
Yeah,
direction.
I see that, because here's,
Yep.
And we are extending this one farther than the existing one because the existing one doesn't go all the way to the, to the toe.
Yeah, the dune got bigger there because of
oh,
the beach fence.
Correct, yeah.
That's good, it's a building beach.
Right,
one
yeah.
of your friends?
Yeah.
So the current one is essentially at grade.
Yeah, I see that.
So they're
Yeah.
getting rid of the wood and they're putting stainless and
Yeah.
stainless steel
That'll
cables.
probably be less of a
Vision.
intrusion on
Yeah.
the visual
Yep.
aesthetic.
100%.
'Cause this is like,
The other one, the old one's very heavy.
yeah, very heavy.
Yeah.
Billy, you want to see this?
With the stainless steel and the stainless wire, you're not even gonna see it
All right.
with all the vegetation, so.
Right, exactly, it's gonna blend in. All right, so you know what you gotta do.
Yep. And just to confirm for future dune boardwalks, the board still likes the 90-degree turn for at the end,
Yeah.
at the toe? Okay, I'm just making sure.
And some areas, but with this area,
Mhm.
so, because if you went the other way, you would end up sticking out farther.
Mhm.
That's why we save it, if you lose beach during a storm,
Mhm.
it's
It's better for beach driving.
Yeah, plus
Okay.
beach drive.
That's what I thought was the
Yeah.
reason, but I just want
Yeah,
to make
it
sure.
was two reasons.
Right. Okay.
All right, so you got a little work to do.
Okay.
And we'll wait for that advisory to come
Yeah,
back.
so we'll wait for that
It
advisory,
would give it
and
a
I'll
couple
speak
weeks.
with Mark.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. At 92 Cold Spring Point Road, DKR Shores, come on up. Sandra Palm is the person owner.
Hello.
Okay. We spoke to this one up
Yeah.
before. When you went to the homeowner,
Yes.
what's the update?
So we spoke with the homeowner, Billy spoke with the homeowner. I talked to Billy a couple times. So the application has changed. The owner wanted to include the bulkhead reconstruction on the Cold Spring side, raising it to match the neighbor. I always ask for up to 18 inches because that's what the DEC allows, but I also specify to match the neighbor, so that's around 6 right now.
Okay.
I could alter that application to specify 6 only, which is fine. There already is a buffer there, beach grass. They intend on doing the buffer, sand and beach grass, leaving it the same. So the big problem is the dock. The Corps of Engineers and Department of State actually approved a float and a ramp, but the canal is very narrow in there. So I discussed with Billy shortening the dock and just doing a fixed elevated T that's lower, so you can access the boat safely.
With a ladder.
With a ladder, right.
You know where this is. This is way up in that one of those canals.
Yeah, the Doug Canal.
Yeah, the
yes.
duck canal, so it's like way up in the duck canal. So the DEC is still pending right now. I did revise that application as well. I included the bulkhead. I shortened the dock, knowing we wanted to shorten the dock anyway.
If you put a float in every time you get a boat, the other people will be.
Yeah, the float would stick out in the nav channel. This is just.
That's not,
No, not a good idea.
it's a very narrow, well,
Right.
some of them are even necked off where
Yeah.
there was no bulkhead,
Right.
and the sand is falling into the canal.
So this does have some substantial cordgrass in front of the bulkhead.
On
That
both
does
sides.
stick out in the canal on
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have to be careful that's not damaged.
right. So at this point,
We might want to vibrate it instead of pumping it in.
that's fine. I don't want them having their boat, you know, at this point, they're like mooring their boat out in the canal. It's sitting on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, we're all not stupid. They're gonna pull a boat in there. At this point, it's on the bottom. It's destroying habitat.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Doesn't look like that. It looks like there's all cord grass all around in front of
Yep.
the bulkheads, which is maintaining a good environment.
Yeah, that could almost be cut down to a low sill bulkhead.
Yeah, you wanna do what elevation here?
Same height or 6 inch higher?
The DEC approved what here?
Well, nothing right now, but it's standard to have the bulkhead either the same height or
They
up
also
to
might
18
look at it as
inches.
almost a dysfunctional
Yeah,
bulkhead, where
18
it's,
would be
where it's,
not working
you're gonna
out here.
completely
that's
change the
fine.
dynamics behind that bulkhead if it goes to 18 inches.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I told them
Yeah.
that. We're not allowed to
If
have
you
rainwater
go 6
run
inches, you
off.
might even have to put holes in it so that stuff gets swept behind it.
Well, it always, the vinyl always has weep holes in it regardless.
You might have to
But
put some more in there. You still have stuff that needs to be wet.
even with that old bulkhead there, the cordgrass is still very
thriving,
healthy,
yeah.
very thriving. And obviously, the bulkhead work is done from the landward side. None of the cordgrass is ever touched. So, you know, but
I don't
I
think
did
you-
recommend, knowing that there's a bulkhead on one side but not on the other, that he stay the same height or at least just match the neighbor.
I mean,
Which is, what's that? I'm looking at that.
Six.
That's six. That's the only thing that would make sense.
Okay, so that's fine.
I'm
I
gonna
can
put-
revise
Perfect.
that.
In a perfect world, the low sill bulkhead
Yeah,
was
would be
cutting.
perfect.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, we still need to protect the house and the property.
Yeah.
We don't want all that sand dumped onto the cordgrass either. That
No,
is
that's
behind the
true.
So you're gonna
bulkhead,
get-
which will happen at high
Right.
tide, so.
Yeah.
So you're going to.
I just want to hold it right now.
You wanna put it on hold?
Yeah, I
Okay.
need the DEC's input
So
on
what
that
is-
dock.
So, okay. What is your plans going for, though, on the elevation differential?
6 inches.
6 inches.
The plans
To match
say
the
18.
neighbors.
It-
Well,
the
wait,
plans
the plans say
the pl-
18?
Yeah.
It says up to 18 inches right now, only because it's in front of the DEC. I could
Right,
change
you
the.
should change our
Change it to
plans.
6
Yeah,
inches.
that's fine.
Yeah, ours you should, because
That's
that's
fine.
not gonna be approved.
Got it.
So I would
I have
change that
no
right out of
problem
the
with
gate.
that.
And then you can still put it on hold, but that's a
Yeah.
change that's definitely
Yeah.
gonna have to happen.
And
So
the
Absolutely.
application should state the amount.
The
height.
6. Yeah, that's fine. But
Whether it's staying the
I
same
need to
or-
know what's happening with
And
the
also
dock,
put
so I have to hold it.
vibrating in there, not pumping.
Vibrating,
And
the
from the shore,
piles.
right?
Yeah, from the shore.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be for the piles as well as the
Yeah.
bulkhead sheeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't wanna stop pumping because you'll uproot the
obviously,
grass.
yeah. And, you know what, let's add some silt curtain,
Okay.
on the just seaward side of the bulkhead, so none of that sand
Goes
dumps in that
inside.
cordgrass.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
I'm
long
gonna
has it
add
been
silt
before the
curtain.
DEC? How long has it been?
The initial dock was the only thing that went in, not the bulkhead, and that's been pending for a really long time. But at this point, the DEC is taking forever to review the applications and technical. So I will keep bugging them.
All right,
It's,
so we'll-
it's a problem right
we'll
now.
put this on hold,
Okay,
and then
okay.
what you gotta do.
As soon as I get something back from
Okay.
them, as far as review, I'll let you know.
All right, thank you so
Okay,
much for
and then I'll
coming.
ask for
Have
it
a
back
great
on.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
91 Fowler LLC, 91 Fowler Street, Village of Southampton, Lang.
This is Fowler Week?
Fowler's. I guess Lang's not here for it. Guess we just put this on hold.
Want it on hold, just not ready to go?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions on it.
All right, so let's do that then. Let's put it on hold so we can have a productive conversation.
Yeah.
Trustee Warner?
Yes. 142 C Newtown LLC, 142 Newtown Road, Michael Kimmack. It's for a modification.
Morning.
Morning.
Michael Kinnock on behalf of the applicant. This is a request for modification. You had given me approval for a 250-foot long bulkhead replacement in place, same height, and the removal of the stones or the original seawall that had
The
collapsed.
concrete that's, yes.
The contractor had recommended that we put in two returns, just to be safe in the event that there may be failure on both sides. It wasn't part of the original application because it came after when he put his submittal, when he put his bid in. And the client accepted it as being somewhat protective. He also recommended, he wanted to use the standard lay log approach. I had put in the original design helicals on the purpose of perhaps preventing as much cutting back as we needed to.
Disturbance, yes.
Disturbance, but he pointed out that he had to do so much cutting on that top section because if you remember, you may not, there's a good portion of it that was 6 foot higher on that particular one that had to be cut down anyway. And he said, by the time, Mike, that I'm finished, the disturbance would be the same. So and it was somewhat of a cost savings, but so he wanted to use the standard horizontal lay log with the tiebacks. So I revised the plans to include both 12-foot returns and then took the helicals out and put the standard lay log approach in. And that's it, gentlemen. The planting plans is the same, which was approved the last time, which had been submitted.
Hey, can you overhead shot? Please. Here, please.
This is a few properties east of East Landing.
Okay.
where
About
we've-
400 feet,
Yeah, where
roughly.
we've sent our maintenance men down there multiple times since I've been on the board to cut the rebar out of the cement that is there, and it's extremely dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yes.
Ian Crowley is doing the job. We work together very well, and we're taking everything down to the low water mark. We're just pulling them all out.
Yeah.
And then taking up, he's doing it from the landward side.
Okay.
Because there's nothing on the property now. Everything has been taken down. The houses are no longer there. It's essentially a vacant lot.
Yes.
All the way to the road.
Yeah, I mean,
You think?
I'm okay with it. It would make sense to put returns on this property and make it.
Yeah, I didn't put it originally, but when I thought about it, he said, Mike, look, if there's any kind of failure of the two adjacent ones, you're protected.
Yeah.
Right. And the client accepted the additional cost.
Well, that's important, because then you can control your own structural integrity versus relying on tying it to.
It's funny, I've had some of the designs you talked about being higher than your neighbors. I had one design when the guy was higher, and because the two neighbors were lower, he kept washing out, basically. So we lowered him down to the neighbors,
Yeah,
basically, and it's taking care of the issue.
Yeah, but along this stretch there, during Sandy, there were some bulkheads that stayed, some that failed, so having everything self-confined to that property.
If you take a look at the design, we've got 10 inches, 6 foot, 10 inch, 6 foot on center pilings, 8 by 8 whalers, three rows.
Yeah.
1 inch tiebacks to a 10
It's
inch.
a good
diameter
Navy-style
whaler.
bulkhead, so.
And we're using a Z9900, which is almost 3/4 inch thick.
The
Good.
bulkhead, it's almost as good as steel.
Yeah, well, hopefully, we're not gonna have any big projectiles coming into it, but as it
Yeah.
is on Long Island Sound.
Yep.
But it's almost as good as steel.
Yep. All right, so we,
Can you submit a description that has the original description and then below it have the modification, what modifications you're making? Just so it's clear that your
Sure, yeah.
modifications are separate.
I wasn't quite sure exactly what was, James, which way you wanted to do
Okay.
that. but
Yeah, that would be helpful,
I've got the
because this is
original, I'll do
written
the
in-
original project description, and I'll do the original project description on top and then do the amended one below.
Yeah, just do what you're actually modifying
Yeah.
and doing separate.
Yep.
just so
I'll get it to you, I'll get it to you when I get back.
Thank you.
all right.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
Have a nice one.
Take care.
Okay, Eddie, get.
Current Point Drive LLC, 35 Current Point Drive, the owner, I don't see him here, James.
Yeah, he's not coming, he didn't give us a cover sheet either, so.
We will hold it then.
I would say hold it to the next work
Yep.
session.
We could do that. And then 17 Allison Lane, Kim Lester, Cole Environmental Services.
I Hello.
So we're seeking a low sill bulkhead at 17 Allenson Way in Hampton Bays. We will be putting the top of the bulkhead at 1.5, about a foot underneath mean high water, essentially just to hold in the toe of the slope. The house has been there since 60s, probably before, and is about 18 feet away from the edge of the creek, so the canal. So we just need to protect it and hold the land basically in place. We're going to be putting in minimal fill, 5 cubic yards approximately, to basically just go across and fill in any spots that there's a gap.
Low sills work good in that area.
Yeah, the whole rest of the creek or the canal is bulkheaded, so this is kind of the only one that isn't, and is not going up as high as some of the other areas. So, yeah.
Well, the property right across the old Allen's Acres or Pongcong Manor is one of the first low sill bulkheads that I worked on. And
Yeah.
Originally, it was put in, it was actually too low, and they put a 6x6 whaler on top of it. And meeting on site there with all the agencies, they were pretty impressed with how they had grown up and really reconstituted an old parking area, which that's what it was. So it's a great project showing how you can reclaim the wetlands.
Where are you gonna
Absolutely.
put the fill?
So basically, if we draw a straight line across, on the property, there's just some areas that might have a little bit of gap. So we included some clean fill and some plantings to fill that in, but it's gonna be minimal.
Yeah, there was a very large dredging project on the other side, Billy, the Pongcong Manor, and all that material was put on the beach behind the low sill bulkhead, and that's where all the vegetation has really
Okay,
flourished.
okay.
So I think it's a good project, and I think it's gonna, shore up the wetlands so they don't slide into the canal.
Exactly.
So
You don't wanna take the fill from the basin?
We had discussed that, but Army Corps was against it,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I
DEC was
wasn't-
against it too,
Okay.
so, yeah, we decided just to put the
Okay.
clean fill there.
Do you have those permits?
So we have Army Corps, we fit into the nationwide general permit, the DOS has given their okay, and the DEC, we've had comments from them, these plans match their comments, but as the last applicant mentioned, DEC is extremely slow, they've lost one of their, 3 technical analysts, so they've been,
Okay.
so, we should have it soon, but we don't have it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But all in all, it's a good project.
Can you send the permits that you have?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, so you wanna hold it, you wanna advance it, what do you wanna do?
I think we can hold it until we get everything right, James, and then we could move, I mean.
I wanna wait till the DEC gives the permit.
Yeah, I'd like to see any of their comments, because there was a lot of comments that were, talked about down there, so that,
Sure.
this might not be the final iteration.
So
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
this is basically good unless the DEC
Yeah,
has.
I'm just curious to see if there are any other further
Okay,
comments.
and then when we are ready, you'll need stamp plans for the low sill.
Right,
Exactly.
correct, yep.
Exactly, but like you said, it could work real good over
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems good.
Okay.
All right, great.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, guys.
Carl.
Thank you.
Take care now. All right, I just saw somebody come in. What are you here for?
For 91 Fowler.
Come on up.
Traffic getting here from Long Island is remarkable.
Was easy?
Remarkably bad.
Come on in, sit down, state your
I
name.
guess I must have missed
Yes.
Mr. Pell's section. Okay, thank you for accommodating me, I appreciate it.
We held it over, don't worry.
Billy Mack does it all the time.
Hi, so good to see all of you. Taylor Stern from Beeline Associates representing the applicant.
You wanna borrow my pen?
I have one
Yeah,
actually.
okay.
So I was sort of surprised to see this on the agenda only because there's been a period of inactivity. So I was wondering if this is the trustees looking to terminate the application
No,
or?
well, just to get it going.
Okay.
If they don't wanna do it, we'll terminate it. If they wanna keep on doing it,
No, they do. After our March meeting, I basically went back to the Rayner Group, who's the engineer doing the site plans, and we had everything done within,
Okay.
a week or two. I actually have
Okay.
a letter with me.
Did you submit those?
No, because, so the issue is getting a hold of the applicant has been quite challenging.
Yeah.
And we don't want to submit, or I don't want to submit substantial site plan changes without his consent.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And we had a Zoom meeting with him in May.
Okay.
And he seemed on board, but then there were some more changes after that. And he
Okay.
just, I haven't been able to reach him.
Because I want to clean up, or, I'm trying to clean up all my outstanding permits.
Of course.
So, but it sounds like we really can't
Do anything until you.
effectively move forward until you have consent.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, we're just spinning our wheels.
No, I know. And that's, I've been very diligent with following up with
Right.
him, but
Yeah.
it just
So-
seems.
I mean, what do you
Can't we
want?
just discuss it to see if we have any further
Yeah,
issues on
let's
the
go
new-
over it and
do you
then
wanna
we'll have
see-
to
I
hold
have
it.
I have the preliminary site plans.
Yeah, let's
Right.
see if we like them. That way, when you talk to them, we can say,
Yeah.
And we'll hold it anyway, obviously,
Yeah.
because
Get
you're
our
not
feedback,
ready.
Get this board's
Here's
feedback.
my May 19th letter from me to you all, and the preliminary site plans, which show I have this here, the dock, we shortened it about 15 feet
Yeah.
to make it more,
So it's tucked in there.
yeah, the point you had made about some of the other docks being shorter,
Yeah.
found that it made perfect sense. Talked about the through flow, we removed the hand railings from the ladder portion of it, and then we sort of mirrored that dock across the street at 190 Fowler that
Yeah.
has that step down.
Step down.
And the safety ladder. So that's the, sort of the 5 points that I took away from the last meeting, and, don't hold us to these, obviously they're preliminary, we
Right.
haven't submitted.
We're gonna
them,
hold
but-
it, we're not,
Yeah.
No,
It's
I
like in
know,
advance, so,
of course,
yeah.
of course. But I don't wanna come back with something next month and then you say, well, it's different from what you showed us. I don't know.
I think there's only, 3 docks in there?
Yeah, if that, there's one over here,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, looks like.
And a couple of duck blinds.
Yep.
3 duck blinds, I think, too.
One of the comments you had was about the hand railing over the overwater portion. So we
Yeah.
took it, I think it was almost all hand railing, we took it back just until
Back,
you
so
got to the water.
Yeah, so you don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you
There's-
wanted to
there's
come back
weeds.
more or less,
I mean,
that's,
if there was no weeds,
right.
probably, but there's weeds. We'll
Yeah.
block
The cattails will completely cover it up.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
see anything you hate?
No, that's pretty much everything. We got the step down, we
They
got the
wanna
ladder.
use it 2 times. Maybe it's free.
Gives some access, the
So-
docks cut back a little bit. Yeah, it's.
So you still have to, continue on with your,
I always tell my clients, I want this to be done as fast as you do,
So now you can go back and tell them that we're fine with.
Yeah, that's good. I
Yeah.
appreciate, thanks for reviewing
yours
this.
or ours, whose is this?
Yeah, we
That's
put
his.
this in the file.
You can have it. It says preliminary,
the
so I
James.
don't think there's any issue with that.
All right, so it's on hold pending,
So you're gonna let James know when you're ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
all right.
Do you need this at all? Probably not. It's just a,
No.
when I submit to you guys, it'll include
In the packet.
the
Yeah.
letter.
We just, when you submit those plans, the new ones, just have them stamped.
Yes, they will be stamped. The preliminary ones, I guess, are not, so.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really
Thanks for
appreciate
coming.
it.
Snuck in at the last minute here.
Good timing.
Is there anybody else that we haven't addressed?
The one walk-on, 19.
We have,
first stamp
we
plan.
have 12 Bob Whites still. And Billy Mack.
And then when he.
Oh,
he-
right, yeah,
Yeah.
they're building that.
Yeah,
He could have been out of here early.
Yeah, because we started
We
backwards.
started backwards today.
I like that.
Because you wasn't here.
Billy Mack, First Coastal. Yeah, everybody.
Did I miss Mary Ann Eddie's, did she come in?
She
delayed it.
She delayed it.
This is 12 Bob White,
Yeah.
Yep.
and it's a modification request to the original permit for bulkhead reconstruction. The upper deck that wrapped the perimeter of the property, the bulkhead, was not included in the original reconstruction of the bulkhead, and we're just trying to update the permit to include that. I've got,
There's two things in there, right? There's the return.
yeah, there's a little return too on the northwest corner, I guess you'd call it.
13-foot return.
Yeah. And then I have some photos that, if you guys need them, and that actually we did find the return on the neighbor's survey. It didn't show up, and that's why it didn't show in the application, on the applicant's survey, but it is on the neighbor's. And it's actually on the applicant's property. So that was rebuilt, as well as the walkways that wrap the perimeter of the bulkhead.
The walkways, though, are 4 feet, and then it goes to 6 feet at one point, right?
Yeah, where the boat is and the access to the house, it bumps out to a little 6 feet, but the rest of it's all 4 feet. Here's some before and
There's
after
about 60,
photos.
59 feet of.
There's two of those.
You replacing, this is already built? or-
Yeah,
So it's as is.
as is, yeah. So you can see one side is the original, and then the rebuild after the bulkhead was reconstructed. So it's exactly the same.
They built the bulkhead without a permit, or just?
No, the bulkhead did have a permit.
Just didn't have
Just
a
didn't have
walkway behind it.
the walkway and that one return.
And how about is that 10 feet?
That's a synthetic lawn,
AstroTurf?
all of it. And it's funny, if you look at aerial photos in the middle of the winter, it's the greenest lawn.
I was like,
Does the geese like it?
I think the guy, I think they do. I think he's got a problem with geese.
and looking at it in March here in 21, it's like, wow, that's a nice lawn.
Right, exactly.
But still, if it's within the 10 feet, we want some real plants to soak up the.
It says proposed native species buffer on here, on
Yeah,
your plan.
so that's
They're
what we have
they're
to-
technically supposed to be there.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
gotta do that.
Well, there is part of it.
I mean, it's a no turf, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It satisfies
But-
the blue book with that.
Yeah.
And he's But if had this synthetic lawn. But if he's got it on there saying he's gonna do native plantings.
He's got half of it with native plantings.
Yeah,
where
that's
it goes to the
probably,
canal.
that's probably not right. I don't think he's gonna want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what,
Well, we didn't want him to do it without a permit, so what do you think?
Well, is it 6 feet within the blue book, the 6 foot wide?
usually you guys only allow 4 feet behind.
Yeah, unless it's pre-existing, I've had that situation happen.
So the
before.
trouble if, even if it's pre-existing, people do it without a permit. then-
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah,
I hear
then
you.
we're gonna have the next guy do it without a permit to say, okay, it's okay, we'll pay the fine and do it.
Well, how many linear feet of bulkhead is this turf behind with no buffer?
That is,
I mean, how many linear feet of bulkhead is it to begin with? I don't,
it's 144 feet.
so because there is some of it that has some, none on the base here.
Looks like you almost made a French drain with the crushed stones,
That's the bedding for the,
the grass.
You've got the grass rolled up there.
yeah, the grass, the synthetic grass is rolled up, exactly.
So he does have a,
Has the
Drain.
drain on that?
It's good, it's all rock based, so it drains really quickly. Yeah, I'm, not So necessarily you, huge. so you don't fan. have,
you have
it's-
sheet runoff.
yeah, it's better to remediate the sheet runoff. It goes right in through those rocks and through to the,
Yeah, and it's there's zero fertilizers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, well,
It's great.
they have to wax it
Yeah.
on Sundays and keep it all bright
Yep.
green.
Yeah.
Did you play football?
Does he play football? No. I think the dogs like it, and the geese.
What do you say?
What do you say?
I'm troubled.
It's
by
got,
it.
it's
the
got a
trustee
couple,
for the area,
it's
so-
got a couple components of drainage, but it also has the lack of root system to absorb some of that water up.
As trustee for the area, what troubles you?
Well, these 6 foot wide, you know, we typically don't go beyond 4 feet wide walkways, and then you don't have a buffer. So,
Well, it is a no turf, no fertilizer zone, so it does satisfy.
One part of it.
Yeah. And the 6 foot is where the access to the boat is, and they're an elder couple. They use a lot of that space up when they load and offload their boat. So it is limited to just where the boat is, and that's in the
it's about 60 feet though.
that 6 foot section.
Yeah.
Yeah, 59 feet. It's also inside the dredge canal portion of the property.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, it's less of a, visual impact, if that's what you're concerned about.
He says woods behind it, bushes.
Yeah.
Not
I
grass.
mean,
No, that's in the canal side.
right. Which is where that other section is.
Yeah, it's up there.
What do you think?
Well, I'm concerned about what you think, you know?
Yeah, I gave you my thoughts. Get a little feedback.
Well, the trouble I have is, on the permit, it says
Native species.
native
Yeah,
species.
that we're gonna
If
have
that
to-
was not in it. then-
Right. That that's a typo.
That's the
We gotta
trouble.
fix that. Because I know the property owner does like, the.
I mean, there's a lot of, you usually don't let that much walkway, it's.
Yeah.
And there's, yeah.
On the 6 foot, I know.
Yeah.
Right, so then there's no trade-off, I
There's
mean.
no trade, and we're giving them, like, okay.
Well, you're getting the as-built fee. That's
Yeah,
but that's not-
And the
that's
as-built
not-
fee does not,
I know.
is not an environmental mediation.
No, that's-
That's,
It's a trade-off, but not
It's
the one that you're looking
The
for.
That's
problem,
pay to play.
right, you're right. The
Yeah.
problem is,
So tiny.
we're trying to get,
Right thing for the
sensibility and permitting and everybody working together, and it's not, this doesn't work this way, you know what I mean? That's the problem.
The one big beneficial thing is that this synthetic lawn has been there for a very long time, and it's, they're very conscious. They do not have any fertilizers on the entire property. All of the grass is synthetic, all the way up to the driveway.
Right. The problem is, I think that.
You gotta specify, I think, if you're going to agree to the turf, you gotta specify the turf on the plans,
Yeah.
if you guys agree on it.
We'll
If
update that,
they remove the
absolutely.
turf and put regular grass, whether it's your client or not, then it doesn't specify, and
Yeah.
then now you
Well-
have fertilized lawn.
Exactly, and that's the thing, is that the trustees are trying to work with every regulatory authority and the villages so that there's rhyme and reason to what it is that we do to protect water quality and, get it all to work, because if things aren't, working together, they're not working, okay? So this is an example.
They're asking us to reward non-compliance.
well, I mean, to me,
I think you gotta go back to the client, so you gotta,
like a 2-foot wide, 40-foot stretch of Cape American beach grass on the front of that, on the bay front of it, would be really nice, because then you would have a nice wicking root system to wick up anything that comes, the goose droppings and all of that, nitrogen that's there. And it would make it look, make the project, really.
Don't look like a museum.
No, it would be really nice.
Yeah.
And it would cut down
Doesn't
on the,
even look like a museum when you look at it now, it looks like, someone,
that would be my only recommendation, being that we have a 4-foot wide walkway and then to a 6-foot wide, which we would only permit part of that now. I think like have your client do some kind of a Cape American beach grass that's low and has a nice 2-foot wide root system buffer, And it's not gonna visually impact anything, because the house is up and, you know, and it's gonna be an environmental plus.
How about,
No artificial,
no, I get it.
No artificial beach grass.
Yeah, artificial beach grass, that'd be nice. Imagine that. Somebody's gonna
Well,
come up with it one of these days,
come
I'm
on.
sure.
Coastal.
How about a 2-foot buffer of like a native fescue or something like that? You know, I think the beach grass is just gonna have such a dramatic look change that I don't think he's gonna love it.
Well, I mean, they'll come back with what kind of plan they're gonna do there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's hold it and then give
Yeah,
you
why
some
why don't
time.
you have a discussion?
Yeah.
The fescue, you might need to water it and initially fertilize it.
Yeah, they don't have any
The
irrigation.
beach grass is pretty much, you put it in and it's,
Yeah, it's done.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if it gets overtopped by salt
I'm
water,
a huge
it's,
fan of beach grass, you know that.
it lives well.
Let's hold it so you can at least
Yeah.
go
Alright.
have a
Let
good
me-
conversation.
conversation.
with your client. You know what I mean? And say, hey, look, we got an issue.
Would
Let's-
that mitigate the 6 foot? Because the other option is we cut the 6 foot down to 4 foot and call it a day. You
But we're
guys,
still walking away from the native vegetative buffer.
Yeah.
See,
Right.
that's
I
the
think
thing,
Well,
it's like,
come back with Ann here, you're gonna,
well, you know what,
it's gonna
I
want
mean, it
10
does
foot buffer.
meet the blue book because it's
I
it
know.
not
does,
turf.
it does meet the
So-
blue book because
You
it's
got a lucky day
stone or,
Do the
you know,
best
you
I
got
can.
this stuff over the top of stone, so it does meet that, it's just,
Impervious
it,
surface with no
It's
fertilizer.
perfect. Yeah.
it is,
I
but,
understand that.
yeah, it is, but we, you know, we have to, like James was
Pay for
saying, you
that,
gotta
right?
specify that.
Well,
in
that
your-
we can specify in
You
the
gotta
plan.
specify in your
Absolutely.
paperwork,
Yeah.
that way there's,
Alright.
there's justification for that, because it is.
But what do we do about the 6 foot that Bill is not in love with?
Well, that's the thing.
You're not in love with it?
No,
This bill,
this bill.
out of the 3 bills.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, things have gotta be, you know, there's gotta be buy-in from the people that are living on the water to try and figure out some way to.
This was significant to change over his lawn to.
I don't mean
you
that
know,
type of, I mean to understand what the rationale is when we're looking for people to, you know, have some native vegetative grasses there. You know, obviously, you and I have both seen many examples of people that put that on paper, and then 2 years later, you go there and, well, it's gone. But,
Well,
so
that's why
that
this
doesn't
is
work.
Solid, you know, non-turf.
Well, I think that the
non-fertilized
two
stuff.
talking points, one that what Bill has is to cut back some of the 6 foot
Mhm.
to 4 foot, and mine is the American beach grass. So ask
Yeah.
your client those two talking points and see what could work with.
Plus, you also have to do a modification relative to what you're talking about with the non-turf, non-fertilization.
Yeah, with that we'll update.
Right,
Yep,
that way there's
absolutely.
justification for that
Yeah.
rationale.
Yep.
Because what
Right.
happens if he has to come in 10 years from now for a new permit to fix something, they're gonna see that.
Right, so you want clarification there.
Mhm.
That way you're underscoring your point,
Okay.
okay? I
Alright.
mean, that's important.
So,
Is this,
to mitigate, we would,
is this in the village?
no.
No.
So to mitigate it would be to keep the 6 foot, we'd do a 2 foot buffer type thing, or cut the 6 foot down to 4, and what?
Well, and then amend the,
Amend the
modify your
modification.
application,
Okay.
playing up the fact that you're getting substantially more benefits because you have the whole area now being non-fertilized and that it's more permeable, you're not getting these risks. You need
Understood.
to
Make
bring
it-
the
bring it
benefits,
together.
you need to bring the benefits that show you've eliminated
Makes sense.
those concerns. So
Okay.
you can't, you gotta set it apart, and
All right.
if you have benefits that you're stating, you need to state them in the paperwork. That way
Easy,
people understand.
Easy conversation. to
Right?
have. Good.
Yep.
All right, I will bring that up to the applicant. Thank you guys very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Bill.
Enjoy.
I think, is there another one?
Yeah, you have a walk-on, just, they needed to submit, the plans. You guys have pretty much advanced it, just pending plans, so it's 19 Shinnecock.
Okay.
We did receive the plans, I'll bring them up here.
Who's that? Is that one of yours, Ed?
It's one of Scott's.
One of mine.
Scott's, it's Tyner Shores.
Yes.
Want to make a resolution or second it?
Well,
To walk it on?
yeah. I'll make a motion to walk on.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
That's okay, so we got to walk on.
You want me to come up and say something, or? I think the only thing.
No, Clay, you got to wait till you get here to say something.
Okay.
You
The
started
only thing
early.
we needed on this was to get the stamp plans,
Right.
and that was the last thing from our previous meeting. And I provided those, and I think we're finished with this one.
James looked it over, and you have done exactly what we request you to do. You provided the stamp plans and.
Yeah, you guys reviewed it in, I think, the June 26th meeting.
Yeah.
And we received the plans recently, so.
And I believe
We're all
we're good. All right.
Till the
Okay.
next time.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
That's true.
Had a tough month.
Hope it gets better. All right. Does anybody else have anything? We do have exec. Is there anything else, James? We're all square with discussions. We're all good.
You're welcome.
All right, so what I'd like to do then is thank everybody for attending our work session, and I'd like to make a motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Warner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, for the purposes of personnel litigation discussion, we are adjourned in an exec session.